Hello, boys. Welcome back to Love Wrestling. Spencer Love here, joined by someone who's made an appearance in our ring, made an appearance all over television, all over the last couple of months. Taylor Rising, terrorizing for you Impact fans out there. It's good to see you, homie. It's been a minute. You were out here a couple of months ago, and even since then, there's been so much in the world of Taylor Rising. But how you doing? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I'm doing really good. Yeah, lots of things have happened. Lots of things are happening, and just living life to the fullest at the moment. Everything's
now.
good.
I do want to dive into it because there's been so much over the last little bit. But on my personal end, I'm a weekly Impact watcher. We brought up Terra Rising right off the bat. And I know when you did interviews with Denise, when you did interviews with Ella, you dove into where Taylor Rising came from. Did you know they were going to give you Terra Rising when you were coming through the curtain? Was that planned? Did they shoot that on you? Where'd that come from?
Well, they asked me, but when they asked me, I literally laughed out loud. I'm like, you get it. That was the whole point of it, is for the reference to it. So when they asked, they're like, would you like to do that? Because I couldn't do Taylor because there's already Taylor Wilde. I'm like, absolutely. I would love to do that. No, it was awesome.
How were the appearances for Impact? You made, I think, 3 matches you had. It was pretty cool to see you getting in there with some of Ontario's indie wrestlers, or former indie wrestlers in Jody's case. How cool was that for you to not just get in there, but get in there with, some talent you're a little bit familiar with?
It was awesome. It was really cool to be Jody's first match on Impact after she got signed. So that was really cool. And then it was awesome, obviously, being invited back and getting to work with other people, meeting the girls. Meeting Tommy Dreamer, that was really cool to mark out for a little bit. The
Tommy Dreamer fan, awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, the whole experience was awesome. Everyone's really nice. And just being around wrestling, of course, is always a great time.
Of course, like I said, you were doing that prior to coming back out to Edmonton, Alberta. After that, though, and we were talking about this when you came out here, you made your NWA debut as part of their biggest pay-per-view of the year, NWA 75. You wrestled in the Mildred Burke Gauntlet, then you wrestled the next night against Natalia Markova. Was it planned that you were going to do both of those? Did you know you were going to have the singles match as part of it, or what was sort of the process there?
No, I got invited for the Gauntlet, and they invited me for other days, but I'm assuming no one knew what I was going to do. They wanted to see the Gauntlet first. So I'm grateful that after that, they liked what they saw. And then I got the opportunity to share the ring with Markova again. First time would be on the Indies at a different show, but again on NWA for the first time.
How cool was that? Because when you were talking with Denise Salcedo there a couple of months ago, you mentioned that it was Natalia who ended up getting you in with the NWA, or maybe making those first steps for you. So did it mean a little bit extra to get in there with her specifically?
100%. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful that she mentioned my name, helping me out a little bit. And then it was very nice that I got to share the ring with her again, especially being there like my second day. I got to share the ring with her again and show the magic that we did the first time.
Well, fair enough. Then you get in there with Max the Impaler as your next opponent. How much of a change-up is that? How cool is that to deal with? And very good problem to get in there with someone as terrifying as Max, I'd have to guess.
It was a good problem to have. Maybe not at the time. I didn't think so. It was a little terrifying. No, but that was a cool experience. Obviously, different singles matches. One from maybe more equal, not fully equal, but more equal as opposed to Max. And
I was going to say, it's pretty rare you're at a power disadvantage in this one, Taylor, but lots of love to you. I think I'm putting my money on Max on that one.
Yeah, as you should. Sharing the ring with them was fun and terrifying all at the same time.
How cool is it to be backstage with the NWA? Obviously, the product's definitely good. It's improving since somebody may have lost the title over the last little bit, in my personal opinion. But being backstage with people like Allison Kay and Medusa and Jazz, and you've got a real rigmarole of great individuals to learn from. So how cool was it to be? And then did you get the chance to maybe pick any of their brains a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, once the amazing experience. It's always an amazing experience when it comes to meeting new people, experiences, just learning new things in general. Jazz is the one woman I got to talk to the most. She was she's a coordinator for the talent. yeah, picking her brain. Like you come to her with an idea and she says, that's great, but how about this? Like just seeing how other people think with who have more experience and who've been there and seen things. Yeah, I have nothing to say but great things, honestly, when it comes to the company and the experience I had while I was there.
I was going to say, as someone who was new to the roster at that point, even 4 years into your career, it's not as though you're new by any means, but certainly one of the newer members of the NWA. How much input do you have? Is it sort of a, for lack of a better way to put it, Taylor, like big ears, small mouth? Is it just listening? Is it really inputting into the match on your end? Or what's maybe the process getting into a new locker room for the first time?
No, honestly, for all the matches I had, it was pretty vocal. Like we come up with our own things and we run through it by people and then or by our coordinator, which was Jazz, and then they'd say, yeah, this is great, or say maybe like a little suggestion, but for the most part, just like any regular thing, you're making up the match, you're figuring out, and then you go out and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's got to be very, very different. And you know me, man, I've said it a million times, but I haven't wrestled a day in my life. I would have to assume that's really, really different than the independent scene where you're really just coordinating with your opponent versus going to a producer and ownership and William Patrick Corgan and everybody in between, right?
Yeah, there's definitely more people to go through as opposed to just trying to figure out and then go out there and then realize maybe I should have done this instead of this, where they are able to help you out before that happens. But I still like that you have the freedom to talk about it and plan things yourself, as opposed to something being planned for you and then you go. It's still your own. It's still your own wrestler, your own wrestling.
Well, and especially now, Taylor, we've talked a ton about how the Canadian wrestling scene as a whole is growing. Western Canada, I can certainly speak to, but at least as an outsider, the women's scene, the Ontarian wrestling scene as a whole has just been thriving over the last little bit. You look at yourself, you look at Alexia Nicole, you look at Jody, you look at some of the newer people, maybe like Silesia. Like, what is in the water, for lack of a better way to put it, in Ontario? Why has there been such a growth in the scene, in your opinion, lately?
That's a good question. Yeah, there's lots of talented women wrestling here. I think maybe just the scene's always been like America or Japan, or like that's where you have to go to get more notice. But I feel like we've just been working really hard. Even though we do travel there, when we come back, I don't know.
Can only help, right?
Exactly. That's the only way you grow. Like you obviously learn when you wrestle anybody, but the more you expand yourself and the more you share the ring with other bodies and other minds, the better you get yourself.
What's maybe something that you've learned recently, whether it's like a new move or something backstage or a piece of advice that you've gotten, maybe from Jazz specifically, or someone in your own world travels?
Oh, that's a good question. What have I learned? I've obviously learned a bunch of things and I'm still learning. There's always something to learn. I guess, it's not really something new, but things that I'm always reminded on is that you never forget where you came from. We're all on different levels. We've all started at different levels, different experiences. And we've always been the bottom tier and always like slowly making our way up, but you're there to help other people. You're never there to put people down. And I guess there's just always things to always remind myself, like just be kind to everyone. But that's nothing new. It's just an everyday life thing. I don't know. You
ain't wrong there. You ain't wrong there, homie. Good advice for wrestling and otherwise. I don't disagree with you one bit. Now to totally sidetrack, well, not totally. It's Ontario Indies. You're the current 420 Super Kicked champion. How cool is that for you? Because you've won a number of titles throughout your career, but I hate the phrase, but as a company's main champion, as being one of the focal points of the promotion, how much does that mean to you? How cool is it for you? How cool is it, even like we talked about earlier, this relatively early in your career to be earning stuff like that?
I'm very grateful to have earned the stuff that I have up until this point. And as for the belt, it's really cool. It's an honor to actually have that belt, considering it was originally Chris Chambers, my trainers, and then I had to fight for it and I beat him for it. As opposed to just like on Unlisted, the YouTube show that we did, the belt I had on there, the Queen of the Six one, I was kind of given it. So like it's still cool to have, but I didn't get to fight for it. Whereas this, I got to fight for it. I got to earn it. And it was my trainers before mine. So it's really cool to have.
I was going to say, and like the promotion you trained at as well, too, it's pretty full circle, hey?
100%. But like I said, don't forget where you came from, because I'm still learning today, but for where I was until now, a lot has changed. Training, everything. Like,
is that still where you're training? Or are you branching out? Maybe I don't have much of a view on the Ontario like training scene, but are you still with Superkick? Do you have the opportunity to branch out and train elsewhere, or maybe what's that process like?
Yeah, there's other schools out here. Rip Impact as a school. There's Battle Arts. But yeah, Superkick is home. I love the training there. Like, I'm the way I am, and I got taught the way I am because of the way I was trained. If I have the option to branch out and reach other places, I definitely can. But I like where I am. I like Superkick. It's awesome.
Well, you have been branching out. It was cool to see. Of course, we talked about Edmonton, but you were out for NEW a couple of weeks ago, taking on Tara Zepp. Is there anywhere you haven't been in Canada yet? We'll talk about Winnipeg's AEW taping soon, but where haven't you been at this point across the Great White North?
Across the Great White North, I have not been to the PEI. I've got asked, but it hasn't worked out. I haven't been out there. That would be cool. I don't know. I've done a bunch, because I've done Ontario, I've done Quebec, BC, Alberta, Nova Scotia. I wrestled in before.
So that's got to be cool.
Yeah, there are lots of water, lots of boats all around, lots of greenery. But the wrestling scene was there too. I wrestled a girl. Madison Miles is her name. She's cute. Good. She was good.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know where I sound narcissistic. I don't know where I haven't been, but I can't. I don't know where I haven't. I'm sure there's lots of promotions I haven't been to, but province-wise, I don't know.
It's a good problem to have, Taylor. Let's talk a little bit about Winnipeg, because it was very cool. Selfishly, March 20th was my birthday, so it was real cool to see you showing up there on AEW Dark, taking on Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Again, you've been on Dark before. I believe it was Serena Deeb and Emi Sakura that you had faced off in your first match with them, but how cool is it to get in there? Jeez, Rip. As part of what was the main event of the Dark taping, taking on, a world-traveled wrestler. I feel like that's the theme of the show today. And for a real prestigious championship, you look at the people who have carried it between Roxanne, formerly Roxy, Deonna Purrazzo, even just getting an opportunity at that in Winnipeg for AEW has got to be cool. Take me through the experience. How did that happen? How did it happen again? That's got to be a good sign if you're going back, eh?
Yeah, for sure. As always, it was a good experience with the first time. It was the tag match with Serena and Emmy against myself and Spinelli. So that was really fun. And then being able to be invited back and have a singles match from a tag to a singles was awesome. And not just any singles, it was with Athena. And it was awesome that it wasn't just like squash, because it was the champion. It was nice that it was like, oh, I'll let you have your moment.
Yeah.
Before I kill you.
Before I beat the hell out of you.
Exactly. No, but it was awesome wrestler.
I feel like she's someone that like you could pull a lot of inspiration from, right? You're both powerful, you're both athletic. Is she someone that maybe you look up to? And if not, who are some of the people that you're pulling inspiration from now?
No, for sure. She's definitely athletic. She's fast. She's aggressive, which are things that I feel like any wrestler could take away from. But as for other wrestlers, I've always liked Rhea. Like back when she was in NXT, she was awesome always. And then just seeing her from that to what she is now, awesome. Another girl I like, Julia from Stardom. I think she's awesome too. Good
shout, great shout. Seeing her on Impact actually was really, really cool. There last month, couple of months ago.
Yeah, that was awesome for sure. I think like those are three strong women that you can take lots of things from, whether it's how they grew in the business, whether it's their talent, their persona that they give in the ring. Lots of things you can learn from all of them.
Absolutely. Now, Taylor, we got to close her out. I got to get the hot scoops from you, of course. What are maybe some of your next immediate goals? I think that every professional wrestler, or at least most that I've spoken to, have the proverbial, we want to get signed, we want to travel, we want to do whatever. But maybe what are some of the more immediate goals for you? What are some next steps for Taylor Rising?
Obviously, you would like to achieve for the greatest, have the WWE contract, AEW contract, which is always up up and like would love that. But in the meantime, it's been working for me so far. I'm just enjoying the ride, enjoying every experience that comes my way. And just I can plan and hope and whatever, but I'm just enjoying the process. But hopefully you'll see me in the foreseeable future on NWA. We'll see what happens with that. Super Kicks I'll still be on for sure. And then, yeah, just picking up the pieces along the way to whatever comes at me.
Well, hearing that, Taylor, I do have to ask. I'm not doing my journalistic duty if I don't say you said we can expect you on the NWA here sooner rather than later. Has there been a signature on the bottom of a nice little contract yet?
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Okay, well, you know what? That's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll get my little clickbait headline. We'll be good. Stay tuned, okay, says Taylor Rising. It'll work fine. We're all set. Taylor, thank you. Thank you for my interruptions. Rip, do you have any questions for Taylor Rising? No, you just want to say hello? Okay, you can hang out. Taylor, thank you so much, man. It's always great to get the opportunity to chat with you. Hopefully we get it, whether it's over an interview, whether it's in person, getting you back out here for Love Pro Wrestling sooner rather than later. But awesome. Until then, where can people keep up to date with Taylor Rising?
You can keep up to date with me on my Instagram, official Taylor Rising. I have Twitter, Taylor Rising. I'm sure if you search Taylor Rising on YouTube, something will come up from Love Pro Wrestling or Super Kicks or whatever things I've been on. You can find me on there.
Well, I would highly suggest it, not just selfishly because I think you're a hell of a wrestler and a hell of a person, but I think y'all should be checking out Taylor Rising in the near future, whether it's on the NWA, whether it's for Impact, AEW. It's not as though I didn't bump into you backstage at Elimination Chamber. You're like Johnny Cash, man. You've been everywhere.
Just trying to show
it's a good problem now. That's exactly. He knows who the draw is here, and it's not me by any means. I can tell you that. So if you've got the chance to keep up with Taylor Rising, friends, I would highly suggest you do so. And if you want to keep up with what Love Wrestling's got going on, give us a follow wherever podcasts are played, videos are viewed, or awesome content is created by awesome people at Love Wrestling CA. For Taylor Rising, I'm Spencer Love. We'll see you on the next one.